I was a commercial fisherman for over 40 years. I fished up in Alaska in the Bering Sea. Started off fishing king crab for quite a few years. I started in 1979. Um, did really well during those years. My father was the captain of the boat at that time. I think we put in like 3 million pounds that year. Seasons used to last about 3 months. Now they only last maybe at the most, I would say, 2 weeks. Um, when I was fishing king crab, um, the price of the crab at that time that we were selling it for, I think, was between 70 and 90 cents a pound or something like that. Um, Now I think they're getting like over $12 a pound. So I mean, they're still making really good money doing it. Um, but they probably would have been made more if they were still bringing in 3 million pounds. Um, I ended up switching fishing industries after about 4 or 5 years. Ended up fishing for bottom fish for pollock and codfish. Um, I can remember we used to bring in about 8 or maybe even 10 million pounds uh, in a season for pollock. They used to strip the roe out of the pollock in the wintertime, and we always ended up getting a lot more for the roe than we actually did for the fish. But in the summer months, it was just a straight price. I think at that time we're probably getting only 8, maybe 9 cents a pound for it, but it added up because we were putting in so many pounds of fish in. Um, so, um, but it's the type of boat we fished on was probably about 120 feet long. Um, there's a crew of five guys there. And it's we would set the gear when we pull the gear back. We had uh, think of it as a kind of a big, huge garbage sack. But this bag would hold probably 150,000 pounds in one haul. Um, and then we had these type of zippers on the bottom or on the side of the bag there, and we would pull these zippers, and then they would go into our the fish would go into our holding tanks there. Usually we would fill up in just a couple days, and then we would go into the offload our fish to the fishing plant there, and we would probably go out again in a couple days, and we did that, for 3 4 months, and the didn't matter what kind of weather it was, we went out in all kinds of weather, most of the time the weather wasn't too bad, but there are times when the weather was really crummy, especially in the wintertime. I can remember times, going out fishing, and sometimes you had 50-foot seas, and the boats going into the waves. I mean, we're not going full speed into them, but once we get to leave the islands, or we get out there a lot farther, the seas would come down. Um, but you gotta take into effect, during the winter time, you could have what's called heavy freezing spray. And when you're bucking into the weather like that, you get that heavy freezing spray onto the boat. The boat ends up getting a glaze of ice on it, and over time, that glaze of ice can get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's been many times where we'd have to go outside of the boat and break all the ice off the boat, because when you get too much ice on board the boat, I mean, the boat could capsize or sink. So We would have these like big, huge, like sledgehammer mallets, and and we'd have to go and break all the ice off the boat. I mean, think of a rail that's probably about 8 inches around. Well, that ice can end up being this big around, and you got to break all that ice off the boat. Um, so that's a situation we got into quite a few times. I can remember coming into the fishing plant, and our boat was just one big, huge ice cube. I mean it. I can remember after we got back in, it took us 3 days to break all the ice off the boat. So it can get that bad. Um, but I don't have any complaints about my the fishing career I had there. I mean, it was fun. Made really good money. I mean, it's been a decent life there. So that was pretty much my fishing career. Maybe later on I'll do another video about fishing there and explain a little more in details there. But you know, it's been fun. I wouldn't wish that on my kids. Because I mean it's it's hard work. I mean it's really hard work. You're always watching out around you there and make sure nothing's gonna break and hit you. And you're always paying attention to what's going on. It's you're watching out for the other guys there too. Because I mean if something breaks or um, could be anything. I mean you're gonna scream out and yell. Hey, heads up or something like that. But it's dangerous. It's not like a 9 to 5 job where you're just driving down the freeway and going to work at an office. This is totally different. And it's hard work.